Good evening, viewers. Welcome to another episode of CovidCastJA Business. Today we are at episode 70. Can you imagine it? September 30, 2021. We are at episode 70 of CovidCastJA. Tonight, our theme is no more hide and seek. Find the funding to save your business. And this and every episode of CovidCastJA is brought to you by the private sector organization of Jamaica in association with our sponsors, the National Commercial Bank Group and the JMMB Group. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, listen, some people are joining us for the first time, and you are saying to yourself, we are at episode 70, so I've missed 69 episodes, and I'm wondering, where do I find all of this information? Well, the information is available to you on smallbusinessportal.com. You'll be able to find our past episodes, but also very importantly, you'll be able to download the memos that were created on a weekly basis, memos that you can print off at your leisure, read through, share with your friends, share with your team members, because we are working together to ensure that we will recover as micro, small, and medium enterprises from this COVID pandemic. I see Vivia. Hi, Vivia. It is great to see you. And I see Adijal. Oh, I am mispronouncing your name. Lovely name. Great to see you. And yes, we are at episode 70. Please, if you have not yet signed up for our weekly memo, sign up at sme@psoj.org. So you can send us an email and we will ensure that you get your weekly reminders and you get the weekly memo. This week's memo, I am strongly urging you that you go on to the website at smallbusinessportal.com and you download it, because you will have a wealth of information that will be bolstered by today's experts. Because today we have Lisa Bell, Managing Director of Exim Bank, Diane Edwards, President of Jamaica Promotions Corporations, JAMPRO, Edison Galbraith, General Manager at Development Bank of Jamaica. And our guests tonight are going to be telling you everything that you need to understand about some of the various business development and support programs that are offered by the government agencies and institutions. And these programs and services may just be that lifeline that your business needs to see you through the pandemic. So get your notebooks, get your papers out, because listen, this global pandemic has affected MSMEs the length and breadth of this earth. So we are all experiencing it. But tonight we will have some of our valued experts from the Exim Bank. And you know, you've been hearing about the program. Sometimes you say to yourself, I can't be a part of this program. No, they won't accept me. What does JAMPRO do that I can be associated with? I hear the ads from the DBJ. How can I be a part of it? Will my business qualify? Will I even be considered? This and many of your questions will be answered tonight. But I also want to remind you, mentioned last week, and you're going to see lots and lots of information coming out about our upcoming conference, Building Wealth. And we're going to be talking about building your business wealth on October 22nd, 2021. We're going to be talking about building generational wealth on October 24th. So one day we're going to be looking at your business. How do you build that business wealth? And we're going to have some engaging speakers to help you through that development of your business. Then we're going to be talking about how do we build our generational wealth so that we are building wealth from the generation to generation. Some of us will be the first generation that starts it. Let's not be the generation that ends it, but we're building from generation to generation. Very importantly, we're bringing the youth into the conversation. We are going to be having a broad narrative, a conversation with families, with business people, with individuals, with our children about money. No more shame, no more under the mattress with the money. We're going to be talking about how we build, keep, and grow wealth. So look out and ensure that you're following us across Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube so that you can sign up as soon as registration begins. But tonight we're going to start CovidCast with a lady who is no stranger to CovidCast, always engaging, Mrs. Lisa Bell, Managing Director of Exim Bank. In her role, she leads a team responsible for the overall management of business development, loan financing, and the general operations of the bank, ensuring that Exim Bank delivers on its mandate to promote sustainable economic growth and development for Jamaica's exporters and potential exporters. She boasts over 20 years of experience in providing financial, analytical, project, and general management expertise in both the private and public sectors. And very, it's important to note too that Lisa Bell was also the deputy managing director of JAMPRO, and we're also going to be hearing from JAMPRO. So Lisa actually is a great person to start out the race tonight, because Lisa can really set the pace. Lisa, great to have you, and thank you again for joining us for another episode of CovidCast. How you doing?
I'm good, Rochelle, and congratulations. I can't believe we're at number 70. And as I was listening to, if when you're talking about all the other episodes, I'm encouraging, your listeners, just the way we download on Netflix and binge out, this is the time you need to binge out on all that information, because I'm sure it's very valuable information.
Thank you so much, Lisa. So Lisa, from the Exim Bank, a lot of persons see the Exim Bank and not quite sure what are the programs that are offered that could be of benefit to them. Can you tell us a little bit about the programs that are offered by Exim Bank?
All right, I will, because I know I need to. Sometimes we don't understand who Exim is. We are a government bank, and our mandate is to support the SME sector, particularly exporters and every company operating in that export value chain. So the overall objective is to build the capacity of the country in order to export more. But in so doing, we look at the entire productive sector, because all sectors have the potential for export. And therefore, our mandate is to craft programs, what I call financial solutions, that fill market gaps. We are not competitors to the commercial banks, but we want to make sure that every SME has opportunity to get access to finance, because as you know, access to finance is one of the major hindrances for growth, and that is particularly true in Jamaica. We still really only 10%, 11% of every dollar lent goes to SME, and it is important that we build that capacity if we expect the economy to grow. So Exim focuses on providing crafting financial solutions that will help the SME increase their access to finance. We have both short-term and medium-term financing.
Okay. So for SMEs that are listening, they've heard about the focus of export for Exim Bank.
Okay.
And they're saying to them as well, I don't have a product now that's for export. Is it that the programs are for MSMEs who are already exporters, or is it putting MSMEs in a position that they can become exporters?
It's actually both. So we have programs designed specifically for exporters, but also potential exporters, because you have to remember that every creator of a good or service has the potential to export it. So we want to build the capacity, and that is why we look at potential exporters. Also, looking at that value chain, if you supply a good or service that services the export sector, certainly you would be a target for funding from the Exim Bank.
Okay. So when our MSMEs hear that, they're like, wow, Lisa Bell, she really know how to frame these conversations. But I'm not so certain if how I could ever be a part of these programs. How would I even qualify, and what programs are available? So let's go through, what are some of these loan products that are available? You mentioned short and medium term. What type of loan products are available? And then we'll get into how our MSMEs qualify.
All right. As I said, I've broken it down into two large categories, and then we have a special product called trade credit insurance, which I'll come back to. But if we're talking about short-term financing, short-term means that it serves the need of the company for about a year. So it's working capital. It's the things the need that the company needs to ensure that it has cash flow to run its business. So it may be as simple as receivables financing, to finance when you're the person you've sold the good is taking too long to pay you, and you need critical cash flow to keep your business running. It may be things, other short-term needs, salaries, that kind of thing, short-term kind of projects that are within 1 year time frame. We have several different kinds of programs. So we have what is called pre-shipment financing. So you're trying to produce a good, but the good is not ready for export yet, right? Or is not ready to go to market. We can finance that. We can do post-shipment financing, meaning you've sent the product off and you need to get the cash flow while you're waiting on the buyer to pay you back. Two different kinds, but serving the same purpose. We have facilities that are designed based on the sector that you're in. We have a special program called the SMTE program, Small and Medium-Sized Tourism Enterprise Program. And that is to support SMEs, MSMEs that are in the tourism value chain. So what we call the linkage sector, because tourism is a very big sector. Mm-hmm. And it is not only accommodations, it's all those people who supply goods and services to that sector. So we have, in partnership with the Ministry of Tourism, created a program for all of those entities that support the tourism sector. So that is an example of a industry-specific program. We have the JMEA program, which is a loan program, which is targeted towards JME members. So they're all different categories of short-term financing. And what we will do is when you approach you, help you navigate through which one is the best one for you. Because some of them have different criteria, and we want to make sure we're crafting the best package based on your needs.
Okay. So in terms of crafting that best package for my needs, and Carrie-Ann, I like this question. Before we get further, Carrie-Ann says, what if I actually have a business idea? Where do I start? Can I start with the Exim Bank with my business idea?
We don't typically do startups, but however, if it is a strong startup proposition, if you're taking over existing business or if you have extensive experience, we will look at the program. We have a new loan program, which I'm going to talk about at the end, called Reset, which we are going to even look more closely at startups, because we know there's a very entrepreneurial class in this country which needs to be serviced. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at that for that program, but I'll come back to it.
To that. And Carrie, also, as a startup, a great point of reference is the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, mm-hmm. which is JBDC. So the JBDC will help you with things like modeling your business plan.
Absolutely.
So the JBDC is a great place for you to go for startup. Dr. Khaled, I see you. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, Lisa, one of the things that people, when people forget a loan.
Yes.
And as a MSME, you working hard to keep your business afloat, to put your business together. You need whether a short-term loan or a medium-term loan. Mm-hmm. And you're saying to yourself, but for me to get this loan, I'm gonna have to give from a TRN to my blood type to biopsy. I mean, what is required and what's the kind of length of time? Is it a laborious process that makes you not even want to bother? What's the process like to actually access these loans?
All right. Rochelle, and I failed to mention before I go into that, we do medium-term financing too. And that is for more capital purchases, long-term kind of when you're fixing up your small manufacturing facility. So I just want to put that out there. It's not just short-term. But in terms of what you'll need, I mean, it's a traditional things. You need a business plan. We need to know what you want to do with the money, in essence. We really want to have audited financial statements, but in this time we have taken a bold step to say, because we know companies are very tight on cash flow, so we will finance your audited financials. We'll give you the money in order to get your financials done. Why? Because not only do we want to lend, we want to build the capacity. We're a development bank, and we want to build the capacity of our SMEs to actually access financing. So, but we recognize that there are constraints, and we've been working with the PSOJ on the Access to Finance initiative. But we have taken the step to say, where you don't have your financials, we will look at your management accounts, but we want to encourage you. We'll help you to get your audited done.
Okay.
You need to do your cash flows. So write down how we expect to pay us back, because our objective is to get paid back so that we can lend you some more money. So it is important that you have your cash flow statements done, as well as indicate what kind of collateral you're going to be putting forth. We are flexible, unlike some of the commercial banks, in the kind of collateral we will take. It is equipment. We can take guarantees. We can take mortgages. We can take hypothecations, which is cash. So we can be flexible because we're a development bank in the kinds of collateral that we will accept. We want you to be a valid tax compliant, so that's also important. And of course, you have to complete application forms. It is not a difficult process, but we want to make sure that you are prepared so it can go as quickly as possible. We are working hard to make it even easier, because we know some of the constraints companies are facing.
Okay, because one of the things, as you mentioned, application forms, is that many of our MSMEs say that they're unable in many instances to move past the application form, because some of the application forms, one, are too long and difficult for them to understand and fill out. How does Exim see its application form? Because that's the basic to even just get through the door.
The application form actually is not the key piece of information that we're going to use to assess. Okay. It really is in the interview and the discussion as we go through the various documents that we can be able to say what you need and what you don't need, what is important, what is not important, which is why, and I mean, we take the approach to actually be your partner in the process. And I'm not just saying that. Exim's 35-year history is built on client relationship. We are hand holders. So in the interviewing process, as we go through that first step in you borrowing the loan, we're walking you through what is needed and why we need it. Because the other thing that we find with many of our clients is that they really don't understand why they need to provide this. But once we explain it, it becomes a lot clearer. So it's very important. The approach we take is to help. And I'm seeing. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. My internet was getting a little wonky a while ago. So I said, let me just schedule. So I see Colette Johnson Rodney. She says, is there assistance for small security companies to consolidate debt? Thank you for that question. Good question, Colette. And I think other MSMEs just even want to understand about loans for debt consolidation.
We do have currently a program which will allow some debt consolidation. It will be refinancing. We're also working to become an AFI of the new SERVE program, which Edison is going to talk about later, which will allow us to do refinancing. And just to say this, Rochelle, I've been speaking with my clients every day for the last 3 weeks, one-on-one with my loan officers. And the need, is so important. You spoke about saving businesses in your intro. And we are finding that our focus in terms of stimulating the economy is about saving them first. And the Small Business Association indicated so many SMEs are failing. So our focus right now is to ensure that SMEs actually stay in business. That we fill the gap in terms of their cash flow so that they can maintain. And we've been restructuring, extending payment moratoria for, I guess, in some cases over a year and a half, because it's so important to ensure that we secure the future of these companies so they can secure the employment of the people who work with them.
Yes. And I see Jason Gordon says, how manageable and competitive are your loan terms?
Oh, I know you're going to ask that question. We are, as I said, our loan term, I spoke about collateral before. We are very flexible in the collateral we take. We're not regulated by the BOJ. So we have a little more latitude to be a lot flexible in the way we structure our loan. We also, our interest rates are pretty competitive in the context of what is offered in the commercial banking sector. And in fact, we have two very special loan programs. I spoke about the SMTE loan program, which is at 4.75%, 4.5%. And we also have a reset loan program, a special loan program, which came out only a month or two ago, which is at 4.75%. There are no loans, save DBJ's digital loan, which is at that rate. And we are encouraging the SMEs, do not wait. Use these funds to sustain you, because we can restructure loans. We can offer you for cash flow purposes or finance new projects.
Okay. And I see the questions coming in fast and furious.
As I thought.
So Colette actually asked, how is SME categorized? Is it by revenue or staff? How do you do your category?
It is categorized by revenue, but I don't want it to get caught up. Anything below 75 million, it really does qualify. You come to us and let us figure that part out. Don't be stymied, because as I said, as a development bank, we have to structure the products that meet your needs. It is not to fit into a specific box. It's about just making sure that we're being able to service the demand in a way that it helps you to survive and to grow.
And Shakwana asked about small catering companies, and Suzanne Bennett asked about funeral services. So I know we want to understand what type of businesses. Are there specific types of businesses that are targeted, or can you just come in and does your business have to be registered for you to approach the Exim Bank?
Well, the easy one first. Yes, you do have to be registered, but we do focus on sectors that are important to the economy: manufacturing, services, mining, construction, agribusiness, tourism, and its linked sectors. However, we really will look at anything in the productive sector. In other words, we'll stay away from things like pure distribution, buying and selling. But anything else that produces a good or service is something that we could definitely look at.
All right. Now that you've excited our small businesses who were saying who never even thought of going to Exim Bank because they're saying that they would not even qualify.
Right.
Now, a small business, I've heard the program today, and tomorrow I say I need to go and visit Exim Bank. What happens after I park in the parking lot and I go through your door? What's the process at Exim Bank when I walk through those doors?
Well, we will take you if you walk through the door, but we're discouraging it because you don't have to come in. And in the context of social distancing, you really don't need to. You send our email to eximbankja.com or call us on one of our lines, 876-630-1400. I hope I didn't say that too quickly. And you'll be put on to a loan officer. And our loan officer will start the process. All the documentation we need can be sent digitally, and that will start the process going. Because we work in an environment that is now digital, we can have our interviews over Zoom or whatever application is best for you and start the process rolling. Once we've collected all that information, if it's a short-term facility, it can take about 2 weeks. If it's a long-term facility, and meaning over $65 million, then it has to go to our board credit committee, which will take about a month. In rare cases, it takes longer, but what we try to encourage our clients to do is gather your information together. After we have that preliminary talk with you, gather the information together. Let's go through it with you so we make sure everything that is there. What we want to avoid is that we have to say, well, we have to stop. We need another piece of information. No, we haven't need a person, which frustrates the client and makes the process longer for us.
Okay. And I'm seeing here, so Colette asked, what are the loan periods offered and whether or not you are also in Montego Bay? But it doesn't matter if you're in Mobay because you can actually
absolutely. Don't matter where you are, from Clarendon right back to Morant Bay. Yeah, it really doesn't matter where you are. Rochelle, you can hear me? You're freezing up.
Oh, I'm hearing you.
Ooh, I'm hoping you're hearing me. She may be frozen, but I'm hoping you're hearing me. So we can provide financing wherever you are. It really doesn't matter. In terms of our loan period, we will go up to 5 years. In exceptional cases, we'll go up to 7 years in financing. Of course, that is for medium-term financing. Where short-term financing, it really is just a year, but it can be renewable every year. In our special loan program, some offer moratoria, which means a suspension on the payment of interest during a certain period. Let's say you're a manufacturing entity and you're purchasing a piece of equipment from China, and it's going to take 3 months or 4 months to get there, another month to set up the equipment. What we'll do is, in that period, we will suspend the payment of principal during that period, to ease the ability of the entity to get the equipment up before it starts repaying. In some cases, with the principal and interest, depending on the specifics relating to the company.
Okay, and I see Suzanne now, after Suzanne has heard all of that, she's like, how is Exim Bank financed?
I'm seeing it. Yes, I'm seeing it. Suzanne, we are financed through the government. We're a government company. We try to operate like a private sector entity, but we are financed 100% by the government of Jamaica.
Okay, and I'm seeing two, and
I hope you know.
Repeat that, Lisa. You hope you know where?
No, go ahead, Rochelle. No, go ahead. Go ahead. You're a little delayed, but go ahead.
Okay, I'm seeing a question here from Dr. Smith. She says, it's such a delight to see female entrepreneurs representing businesses that were traditionally male dominated. Does Exim Bank have products or special facilities for this niche?
You know, the funny thing is that a number of our clients are they're companies that are run by females, and so it is not a nuance for us that whether there is a female dominated entity or not. What we try to ensure that where we are crafting the programs that meet the needs of the entity. But we've often been approached, and I'm part of this UN growth initiative, UN Women. I don't know if you've heard of it, Rochelle, which is looking at increasing access to finance, and where there are specific opportunities for getting financing based on gender-based programs. Certainly, I think we'll be a part of that.
Okay. And Jason Gordon asked a great question. What about professional services providers that serve productive business entities? Can they approach Exim Bank?
Absolutely. Remember, if you're a professional service provider, you are productive. You're producing a service. This economy is based on 70% of the economy is service based, and therefore, whether you're in, we have finance companies in medical supply, in the creative industries, in digitization. I mean, we look at, and of course, tourism is service based. So the truth is, the short answer to the question is yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. So Lisa, you've talked to us about your short-term products, some of your short-term products, some of your medium-term products, the application time, how we're able to access Exim Bank. And I'm just going to ask the producers, if you know you can visit the Exim Bank website. The information is right there. You can call the Exim Bank. The reset program, is there anything that you...
Yes, I want to tell you about it. 2 things. Reset is a new program. Rebuild, engage, stabilize the economy together. Reset. And that's why we give it that acronym, so you're going to remember it. As I say, it is a facility that is targeted. The best part of the program is that it's at 4.5%. 4.75%, I should say. And it is targeted specifically to SMEs. It is to help them to recover. So it does have both short-term and medium-term components. Minimum of 5 million, maximum of 25 million. If you need more than 25 million, we'll blend it with other funds that we have. It's an important program, and it is designed to help companies survive the crisis and to grow. The second one is our e-commerce program, which is about to be launched. It's focused on helping companies digitize. There are huge opportunities, Rochelle, coming in the export sector. Changing consumer patterns has allowed the little lady who is making some castor oil in Clarendon to go directly to market, not through a distributor, directly to market. And we want to help our exporters to meet that demand through the established platforms, whether it be Amazon or eBay or Etsy, whatever it may be. But they need to create a digital presence. So we've created a product that will help them do so, not only to support their operations, but also to help them to go into other markets.
Okay, great. And I see you touched on this earlier. L ask is Exim and AFI for the DBJ.
Well, I'm sure Edison is going to answer that question, but we are definitely hoping so to be, particularly because the SERVE program dovetails so well into our offerings. We are a direct financier, and therefore we believe we'll be able to use that program, because it's a great program, the SERVE program, and use it to not only extend it to our clients, but actually to have it merge with some of our other products that will give a holistic solution to our SME.
Okay, and I'm going to take one last question from Jasmine. Thank you, Jasmine. So Jasmine does ask, do you accept application for grocery stores? And I know you mentioned it's not just buying and selling of products. Do you accept for grocery stores, or should Jasmine actually check in with the Exim Bank?
She's going to have to come into us, because we traditionally don't. But if there is any kind of manufacturing of the process, value added to any products, then we will look at it.
Okay. So Lisa, as we are wrapping up, you've really given us a wealth of information. And I know your website, there's lots of clicks on your website now, and people are going to be reaching out. As we're closing, tonight we're saying finding the funding to save your business. What would you leave with our MSMEs tonight as they're thinking about that next step of business recovery, or they're almost ready to give up and they did not even recognize these solutions were there?
I would leave this. We're in this pandemic and it will come to an end. However, do not let the pandemic stop you from ensuring you need to do what you need to do in order to make your company survive. Do not look at the glass as half full, not half empty, because there are opportunities in the midst of this crisis, and we want to be able to help you navigate so that you can take advantage of those opportunities whilst ensuring that your company comes out on the better side of this crisis. And we've been doing this for a long time, so we know what we're doing and can truly, truly help you navigate through this crisis. It seems that Rochelle dropped off, so guess what, guys? I'm your host. While she comes back on, I just want to say again that, you know, at Exim, we are really, really, truly trying to make sure that our companies survive. My own personal passion, having been here for so long, is that we need to make sure that our private sector is strong and resilient and can make it through to the other end. Our brands are strong, and many companies that do business in Jamaica have the potential to become great exporters. Rochelle, you're back. You need to pay me.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. And
no problem.
Again, this is our 70th episode, and on behalf of all from the PSOJ and our sponsors NCB and JMMB, we wish to again thank you for always making yourself available and your expertise for CovidCastJA. Thanks, Lisa.
No problem. Thanks, Rochelle. Bye, guys.
So we just heard from Lisa Bell from Exim Bank. The information, we'll post the information again in our chat so that you are able to access the Exim Bank. And please don't make any assumptions of whether or not you will qualify. Go in, call, visit their website, get the information before you decide that your business cannot qualify You may surprise yourself. Now, we're going to hear now from Diane Edwards. And Diane Edwards, I know many of you know Diane Edwards. She's the president of JAMPRO, Jamaica Promotions Corporation, the National Investment and Export Promotion Agency. Now, Diane possesses a wealth of knowledge and experience in international marketing and business development, and she is committed to developing and advancing Jamaica's business brand. Under her leadership, JAMPRO has facilitated approximately 1.75 billion US dollars in investments, 1.29 billion US dollars in export sales, and created 51,000 jobs. She has led JAMPRO's transformational development to serve as a catalyst for wealth creation through increased customer focus and more effective marketing communications programs, and has promoted a culture of innovation to facilitate and support the development of new industries in Jamaica. And very importantly, just to point out, JAMPRO has won 2 Stevie Awards under the categories of Sales Process of the Year and Sales Distinction of the Year 2021. And Diane also was awarded 2 Stevie Awards for Business Development Executive of the Year and Woman of the Year in Sales for 2021. Please join me as we welcome Diane Edwards. Diane, how you do?
I'm good, thanks, Rochelle, and great to see you. And wow, you keep on reading these things, and I'm thinking, who is that?
Thank you so much.
Listen, I just wanted to say congrats on the 70th. I mean, this is absolutely phenomenal. You guys are doing a great job, and I'm really excited to talk to everyone who is listening tonight. Great questions for Lisa. So I know people are engaged and listening.
Yes,
so
and
great to be
really
here.
are encouraging them. Now, you have the president of JAMPRO, and she is available tonight to answer questions. So I'm expecting those questions to come in, because the first thing I need to ask you though, Diane, the programs that are available, because again, just as I led off with Lisa, a lot of our MSMEs say there's no way I could qualify for any consideration in any of these agencies. Can you tell us some of the programs that are available and the businesses that are encouraged to participate in these programs?
Sure. First of all, I would say that JAMPRO is not wholly focused on SMEs. So a lot of people think, oh, JAMPRO is only for the big guys, but that is not so. So we actually help a lot of companies. So our flagship project for our program for SMEs is really called Export Max. And that is really, you can think of it as export to the max. So we find ways of helping companies to get into export, because we really have 3 vocations in JAMPRO and 3 KPIs. We are to attract investment and expand investment, and that's local investment and foreign investment, and sometimes matching them together. And we are to find export markets for companies in Jamaica, and we are to create jobs. So that's JAMPRO's vocation. And behind that vocation is improving the business environment. Yes. So those are the things that JAMPRO does. So our flagship program, Export Max, is a program for 50 SMEs. And what we do with them, we're working in conjunction with JBDC, Jamaica Business Development Corporation, and we're working with the Exim Bank. One of the things that Lisa didn't tell you is that she has an export club for Export Max companies. So they have privileged access to Exim Bank services. And our program is also co-funded by Scotiabank. So Scotiabank is obviously very open to the advocacy that we can bring to the table. So we help businesses really to focus on, one, suppose you want a partner. Suppose you've decided that your business needs to scale and you need an equity partner. So we can actually go out and find an equity partner for you. JAMPRO is a free service, let me say that, and there is no qualification required. So there's no application form, there's no qualification. You come to JAMPRO with a plan, with seeking a service, and we will help you because we are a free government service, okay? So we don't have application forms. So
Wow.
really, it is for us to understand what is your need as a business. As I said, you could need an equity partner. You could need a market for your ginger. A lot of people, a lot of agricultural enterprises, or even one-man operations, one-woman operations, come to us and say, okay, I have, 100 pounds of ginger that is going to mature in 3 months, and I need an international market for this ginger. Now, we have a lot of relationships with importers in the US, Canada, UK, wherever, and Barbados for that matter, Bahamas. So we can find you that importer who needs your ginger. And we match companies on the basis of size. So we wouldn't put you in touch with Walmart if you're an SME. We would find you an importer who maybe needs 50 pounds, every 3 months, instead of somebody who is going to say, I need 5,000 pounds every week, which you can't supply. So it's really, we are tailor making our services to the needs of the customer. That's really what it's about. So some of the other programs, so export advisory, that's a big part of what we do. So explaining and guiding companies to get into the market. And like Lisa said, we are also handholders. So we don't just say, okay, we introduce you to this guy and we walk away. No, we actually help you through the whole process of finding the best route to market. How do you package your products? Do you have proper standards for exporting? And then, should you do air freight? Should you do ocean freight? The whole, every single situation is different, but we really tailor make our assistance to what the customer needs. So we also do a lot of business matchmaking. And that can be finding different types of partners. So those partners can go from equity investor. So, because one of the things we find is that a lot of business in Jamaica is done by people who are not really planning. And I really believe that we have to do a lot more research and a lot more planning. So JAMPRO can help you with the research when you are setting up your business. And we do this for a range of companies. You need information on market demand. You need information on what is the type of distribution channel I should go into. If I'm a small producer of sauces, maybe I shouldn't be going to a supermarket. Maybe I should be doing an e-commerce solution. Maybe I should be looking at an importer who can distribute my product in a range of stores. So those are the kinds of things that we do.
So Diane, as you're going through these services, I know some people are saying, but we never know, say, I jump or do these things, and that as an MSME, I could potentially benefit from these services. Now, I've heard you mention things like the ginger and the sauces. Now, for MSMEs listening, is it that I should come into JAMPRO to determine what JAMPRO can help me with, or is there like a target set of producers, target businesses that JAMPRO encourages to come in?
So we are focused on a certain number of sectors. Like Lisa and like Exim Bank, we're focused on productive sectors. So we look at things like logistics, but that's not really a small kind of business, but outsourcing. Outsourcing can be small, it can be large, it can be outsourcing of software development, can be outsourcing in terms of business process outsourcing. It can be any kind of outsourcing, any kind of core business, non-core business that a company wants to outsource can be outsourced to Jamaica. So you can start, if you look at a company, a homegrown multinational like ITEL BPO, it started with 7 people. They're now in the 4,000 or 5,000, but they started with 7 people. So it was once an SME.
Yes.
And that's the point. So you really need to find those acorns that can grow into oak trees. Yeah. And that's what we need to be doing here, is finding those unicorns. So we look at agribusiness. A lot of the work we do is with agribusiness, and that's really helping farmers, both large and small farmers, to find markets and also to look at the market demand and to understand the trends in the market and how do they tap into those trends. Manufacturing. Manufacturing, we have a lot of manufacturing clients. We have helped people to do things like export hand sanitizers to the US, believe it or not, or hand sanitizers down into the Eastern Caribbean, because we have a lot of contacts down there. So hygiene products, cosmetics. We have done a lot of work in developing the castor oil, the Castor Industry Association, and helping the cosmetic manufacturers, of which castor oil is a subset, into the US market. So before COVID, we took physically a whole group of cosmetic manufacturers, many of them household names that you know in Jamaica, but manufactured here, took them to Atlanta, found them distributors, and now they're rolling out the business and doing very well in Atlanta. Of course, COVID has put a damper on a number of things, but what we've done is pivoted to virtual trade missions. So now we do the same kind of matching, but it's online.
Okay.
So you could come into us with a product, for instance, a branded product, let's say it's cosmetics, and we would find for you 3 or 4 importers in various markets. It could be Miami, Atlanta, Houston, for instance, and we help you to present your product to them in a proper way and kind of coach you into what you need to do, how you need to present your product, and then really help you, handhold you until you get a distributor signed up. So we've done that for several companies.
So then when an MSME is listening to this program and they say to themselves, I want to go into JAMPRO, what is the process now? Do they call JAMPRO? Do they go on your website? How do they get in touch with JAMPRO, and what can they expect from JAMPRO?
Okay, so you can call.
What kind of treatment them can expect? Because sometimes we don't want to do, because we say we're not gonna treat with good. What kind of treatment can they expect?
No, man, absolutely. You if you don't get good treatment from JAMPRO, I will definitely put up my hand. You call me, because our team at JAMPRO is really customer focused and customer friendly. So you call JAMPRO 876-978-7755. Or you go on the website, dobusinessjamaica.com, and there's a lot of information on the website already. So you really need to and there you can fill in a form, because we have contact us. So you fill in a form and you say, I need to know X or Y, or I need help with X or Y. I'm on LinkedIn, and many of our team is on LinkedIn. So you can go on LinkedIn and look for JAMPRO. We have a corporate site, and we have corporate sites on Twitter, on all of the social media, Instagram, Pinterest, all of them. And you can find JAMPRO employees on those sites as well. And so you can link directly. You can link directly with me if you want. You can link directly with any number of Berletta, Vivian, whoever. So we are organized by sector. So when you come to us, what we are going to say to you is, what sector are you in? So if you're in agribusiness, you'll be put on to Marlene. If you're in manufacturing, you'll be put on to Berletta, etc., etc. Okay. So it depends on what sector you're in, because we have sector specialists, and they understand their area, and they can give you guidance and information, and also interpreting the laws, because the laws, believe me, a lot of people don't understand the laws, and because we don't do enough research before we go into business, we kind of go down the wrong road, and then we go, oops, I didn't realize that I needed to do that. So a lot of what we do is to explain to people where to find the information they need, or what procedures they need to go through so they don't get in trouble.
To be able to put. And in the Export Max, you said there are 50 MSMEs in the Export Max program. Was it a competition that got them in the Export Max program? How did they become a part of this program? Because I know our MSMEs are wondering, how did businesses get to be a part of that program?
Now, that was an application form. There was an application form for that. We had a call for companies to join. This is a 3-year program, because it's not a short-term thing, really trying to make a difference in the life of a company, which is what we're trying to do. we're really helping people to scale and be sustainable. So we had 2 years ago, we had a call for companies. They filled in application forms, submitted their financial statements. All of that was screened by our partners, and a selection was made of those 50 companies whom we feel have real opportunity to scale up and be successful. And we, in another year's time or so, hopefully less than that, we should be able to start another cohort of Export Max. So watch this space.
So Dan, what I'm hearing you say watch this space. So we need to be paying attention to what's happening at JAMPRO. We're also saying to the MSMEs, do not disqualify yourself.
Absolutely.
Actually, go into JAMPRO, have the conversation, and JAMPRO can help to guide you. And in fact, there may be export markets that you never thought about that JAMPRO has access to and is able to do business matching for you. But JAMPRO can actually guide you through that process. And JAMPRO is not just for the big businesses.
Absolutely.
From micro, small, medium, and the large businesses. And remember that many of the organizations that JAMPRO has already assisted started out as small businesses that are now large businesses. So Dan, as we are wrapping up, you know, our topic tonight is no more hide and seek. And you know, in this COVID time too, some of our business people are literally hiding from just the realities of the vagaries of COVID. But there are ways to save their business. What would you like to leave our MSMEs as they are now seeing a potential light of agencies that they can visit to help to save their business?
You know, I think I would say two things. Never be afraid to ask for help, because I think a lot of people stay in their corner and get depressed and say, boy, I don't know what to do. So I think you have to go out there and find out what's out there, because every successful entrepreneur has failed 10, 15, 20 times. Mm-hmm. So failure is not a life sentence at all. It's just a learning experience. And you don't have to fail, because actually there's a lot of support structures out there that can help you, but you have to ask the questions. So you have to go, first of all, be proactive and ask the questions. And then really go for the information, because there's information. Yes, if someone says closed mouths don't get fed. Well, and the French have another saying, which is the one who cries is the one who gets the bottle. You know? Yes. So you really have to plan, because so many people go into business and they don't understand what they're doing. They haven't got a business degree. They haven't got any understanding of the fundamentals of doing business. And so we really encourage people to start to understand the fundamentals. So you want to export, and remember, we're focused on export, but we do actually do a lot of work on linkages as well. Linkages into tourism, linkages into other sectors, because I give you another case in point. One company told us that her expansion, 50% of her expansion has come from selling into the BPO sector, a sector that people don't understand. And I'm not going to talk about too much about her service, because you might know who it is. But the point is that there are markets within Jamaica that people just don't think about penetrating. And we can help you into some of those markets that you really just were not thinking about, that are on your doorstep. So it's plan, research, get the information, be proactive.
Plan, research, get the information, and be proactive. And as Annette says, closed mouths don't get fed. Diane Edwards, always a pleasure. President of JAMPRO. Thank you. I know you had a very long day today, but you still are here with us for episode 17 of CovidCastJA. Thank you very much, Diane.
Thanks.
So Viewers, we have heard from Lisa Bell, Exim Bank, and she has talked to us about some of the products available from Exim Bank, short-term and medium-term products. What are the qualifications? And encouraging you to visit the Exim Bank website, call the Exim Bank, get the information. And then Diane Edwards of Jampro is talk to us about the facilities available through Jampro to assist you in identifying new markets, whether locally or overseas, and opportunities that you can grow your business. So there's no more hide and seek. Get the help. And it's like that. Closed mouths don't get fed. Show up and show out. And many of you have been hearing some ads from the Development Bank of Jamaica, and you've wanted to understand, you've heard various announcements from the Minister of Finance of funding available through the DBJ, and you're not quite certain where you could fit in and whether or not any of this funding is available for you. And tonight, you're going to hear about the funding available from Edison Galbraith, General Manager, Channels Relationships and Marketing at the DBJ. Now, Edison actually has over 20 years of experience in the investment and development banking industries. Since 2011, he served as General Manager for loan origination and portfolio management at the DBJ, where he heads the bank's lending operations. Now, since 2021, he fulfills the role of general manager and takes on marketing of all the bank's financing and capacity building products, with responsibilities including managing DBJ's relationships with financial institutions, development partners, and the business sector, as well as deploying DBJ's portfolio to unlock strategic sectors, improve access to finance, what we want to hear about, and support economic growth and job creation. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Edison Galbraith. Edison, how are you doing tonight? Thank you for
I'm great, Rochelle. How are you?
I'm happy to see you, and happy that you could join us for CovidCast, because
Thanks
I know
for having us.
lots of questions about the DBJ programs. So I know they are locked and ready to hear about the programs. So Edison, maybe we just jump right into it. I know one part of your role is access to finance, and a lot of our MSMEs are really wanting to get access to finance, and they want to understand what programs, what products are available through DBJ. They hear the ads, they hear the announcements, but they're not quite certain. Can you take us through some of the programs available through the DBJ?
Sure. So before I do that, though, Rochelle, I just want to say a little bit about DBJ's role.
Yes.
So we are a government agency, but we sit between, let me say, entrepreneurs who are private sector and lenders or financiers who are, again, private sector. And our role is really to bring them together. So we do a lot of things in terms of trying to understand what is it that the financiers need.
When you say financiers, that would be like our banks?
Our banks, our credit unions, microfinance, our equity firms, angel investors, etc. And we also look at what the entrepreneurs need to do to be ready for those channels as well. So a lot of the programs we have are from, I guess, every single stage of the business life cycle, from startups or even pre-startups all the way through to mature firms. So we have a whole suite of products that we've put out, trying to address all of those gaps in the market and for all sectors as well.
Okay. So, I know a suite of products is right that the DBJ has put out, and several persons have actually reached out to us to try and understand some of these products. And I think our producers, that we do have a slide, just some graphics that help us to talk through some of the DBJ programs. So Edison, or MSMEs want to be excited by this. They want to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Tell us about those DBJ programs.
Okay, so I'll start at the top then. So as I said, we start at the seed stage, even before it's a fully blown business. We start with university students in the National Business Model Competition, working with them. And to date, I believe we have touched over 2,000 of those student entrepreneurs and helped them through that competition. we recognize that a lot of small businesses need additional capacity, or there are things that they don't have, things like records, proper business records,
Yes.
business plans, financial statements. Those that are in food manufacturing and processing, they need to look at things like how long can a product last on the shelf before
Mm-hmm.
it spoils, so they can plan properly. So we have a whole range of services in our Voucher for Technical Assistance program, where grants of whether it's 200,000, 300,000 are provided. And we have what I refer to as an army of business development providers, service providers, over 50 of those who are, let's say, consultants who provide the service. To date, we've done over 1,400 vouchers and put
Mm-hmm.
out over $306 million. There are about 30 different services that are available. We also provide, as you get to the early stage in a business, you've been around for a couple
So
of
just a
early,
second,
a year
Edison.
or two.
Edison, just
Yeah.
a moment. Just going back to the VTA for a moment. The services, just so that our MSMEs are clear. So if you need
Yes,
assistance with your business case, your business plan, and so this is where you would seek that voucher for the technical assistance, where the various business development organizations, the people know that can help you to put it together. The DBJ will help you
absolutely.
with a grant to be able to access those services.
Absolutely. You get a grant for up to now it's been 70% of the cost. But
Mm-hmm.
just for the period up to March 2022, we have increased the limit on the financial statements as well as business plans to $250,000, and we cover 100%, including GCT, up to 250,000. So I
Okay.
mean, so there are so many grants that are available to small businesses to put your house in order.
Mm-hmm.
So that's some of the things we do. We also provide early stage grants for Ignite, our innovation grant program, where to date over 70 SMEs have gotten grants of 230 million. We're in the third cohort of that group. We've just signed them up and they come through. So again, we work through partners, incubators, we call them, or business service intermediaries, and they prepare these entrepreneurs so that they're able to pitch. They do hand holding with them as well and help them manage these grants. So they get grants of between 3 million and 7 million. We're also working with supply chains, and
Mm-hmm.
this is where you have small suppliers who provide services to a larger buyer. So it's pretty much, you'll see it in agriculture a lot, in coffee, in even lobster, in craft items as well. So we help them improve the efficiency of their operation so they're able to produce more with what they have. And to date, we have touched over 400 MSME suppliers, and they've gotten grants again of up to 420 million. And we've
Oh,
worked with 18 different supply chains to date and seen the benefits there. Now,
okay.
having gotten all of that capacity in place and your business is humming like clockwork, you go to a
Mm-hmm.
financial institution and you need a loan, and they tell you, okay, we need some collateral, but you don't have enough collateral to give them. We have the credit enhancement facility that provides guarantees of up to 90% of a
Mm-hmm.
loan amount. So if you're borrowing $1 million, you can get a guarantee for 900,000, and that's for small loans. We also go up to $30 million or 80% for larger SME loans. And again, to date, we have done over 1,000 such guarantees, providing 5.5 billion in support, allowing SMEs to access over $11.7 billion in loans. And it has been used by over 15 lenders. I want to just touch again on the last point on the screen there as it relates to MSME loans. So last year was a very bad year for the country, but the previous year ending March 2020, we did over 14,000 loans, valued $7 billion to micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. And our roster of financial partners, we have over 33 firms, whether they are credit unions, commercial banks, microfinance companies, and a range of other lending institutions that we provide loans through. So
Okay.
that's just really a snapshot of the programs that we have to support
Mhm.
MSMEs.
So just to be clear, and I see Nadine Bilwan. Nadine, I hope I have your last name correct. So she says, "Good evening. I missed the start of the program." And Nadine, you can access this program on our YouTube page, right here on our Facebook page, and at smallbusinessportal.com. And she wants to know, do you help with first-time business owners, or what advice can be provided to a first-time business owner? And so Edison, just touching on Nadine's question, you said that you start with the students.
Yes.
There's vouchers for technical assistance. So somebody who is a first-time business owner, what's the kind of starting point they would usually have? Is it usually through like the voucher for technical assistance, or the new ideas, the Ignite program?
It could be either of those two, because the voucher allows things like mentorship and coaching. So you may have just started your business and you're trying to figure out, how should I really run this business? One of the vouchers that we provide is getting coaching services from a business advisor who can be there to hold your hand and provide guidance. So we provide grants for that as well. But also the Ignite grant is for early stage firms. So you may, as I said, you may be a new business owner, but you have to be innovative in this time. You can't really just do the same thing that everybody else is doing, or your business won't grow. So we encourage persons to be innovative, try something new, bring a new product to the market, enter a new market, do it differently. And if you're able to do that, then you could get grants of up to $3 to $7 million. And the good thing about the Ignite program is that you're paired with an incubator. So you're matched with one of these incubators, whether it's the Branson Center, the Technology Innovation Center at UTech. There are a range of them that we have, and they do the hand holding for you as well to take you through this process. JBDC is one of those as well.
Okay, and I see Dr. Smith, I know you're always there with the questions. And Dr. Smith actually makes a great point to where we're going now to, where she says that CEF guarantee is major, because a lot of collateral has been a major hindrance to MSMEs seeking access to capital. And I think, Edison, there's still some of our MSMEs who are really not quite sure how the CEF program, they've heard things about it, but they still can't wrap their mind around it. How does the CEF guarantee work?
Okay, so there are a couple of things that a lender will ask you when you go to visit them, right? They want to know that you have a plan in place and that it makes sense. They want to see that you have some kind of track record so you can run this business. When you've checked all of those boxes, very often they say, okay, this looks really good, but I want something to hold on to make sure that you're committed to this business. So that's where typically collateral will come in. Most of our small businesses do not own the premises they operate from. They don't have a lot of tangible fixed assets. So what the DBJ has done is created a cash guarantee that we provide to lenders. And again, this is credit unions, commercial banks, microfinance institutions, so that they are able to lend you. So if they're lending you, let's say $2 million, and we say we will guarantee up to 90% of that, the lender may still require you to come up with your 10%. So you must at least have some skin in the game, but
Yes.
the DBJ takes out a lot of that
So just to
requirement
be
from you.
clear, Edison, as an MSME, I go to my financial institution, and I am required now to provide some collateral for my loan. We don't have the collateral. So is it that I now go to DBJs to say, DBJ, give me the collateral, please give me that CEF, or is it through my financial institution that I'm able to access the CEF guarantee?
Right. It's through the financial institution. And again, that's part of DBJ's mandate and model. We're trying to get all of the financial institutions on board to support MSMEs and to get, all the support that is available for them. So you would go into your lender, whoever it is, if it's your credit union, once you've discussed the loan and there's a gap in your collateral, typically they will simply, because what we have now is a fully automated electronic platform. So they don't even have to come back to DBJ. They have a pre-approved limit of guarantees at the beginning of every year. Let's say it's $100 million. That's pre-approved. They just go on their desktop or their mobile phone, put in your application. Once they've approved your application in-house, touch a button, and they have a DBJ guarantee on it. So they don't have to come to DBJ for every single guarantee. We've given them a portfolio pre-approved scheme where they can access those guarantees at will, basically.
So, in fact, as an MSME, when I'm having the conversation with my financial institution, I should be asking them if I can access the CEF guarantee through their institution. Okay.
Absolutely.
So tell me something now.
If you need it.
If I need it.
If you need
But
it.
but it's very important that our business owners understand that this kind of facility is available. So many persons are not even trying to get the access to the loan because they're saying to themselves, "I mean, I have no collateral." And there is, in fact, the credit enhancement facility that you're able, and it's a platform, it's automated. And when you go through to your financial institution, and once your financial institution is participating in the credit enhancement facility, they are able to
automatically approve it. Yes.
Okay.
And entrepreneurs can get more information about the CEF by going to dbjcef.com. So that website has all the information that the MSME would need to tell them how it works and everything about it, basically.
Okay. And then I see we also have MSME loans available through the DBJ. I see, and it says, awesome. I wonder if SDC is aware of this. So Edison, in terms of your ability to access an MSME loan, because we've heard lots of announcements made about funds that are being made available through the DBJ. Can I actually come to the DBJ for a direct loan through the DBJ?
No, you wouldn't be able to. And again, we work through a network of 33 lenders who are spread out all across the island with hundreds of loan officers who are there in branches, reaching and touching the clients every single day. We don't have that capacity in-house to do that. And again, a critical part of our mandate is, let me say, priming the market in that way. So we work with the financial institutions by creating dedicated lines of credit. So this new SURF facility that we're talking about, for instance, that's a dedicated MSME line of credit. So it lets the banks know that, and the credit unions know that, SMEs are the lifeblood of the economy, and there's a dedicated pool of funding available from the DBJ to support them. And we find,
because that I know our viewers are the questions are starting to come in now when you mentioned the SURF program with this dedicated line of credit. So how does it work? You go to your financial institution and your financial institution taps into the line. How does it work for you to be able to access this through the SURF program?
Right. So a big part of our push right now is to ensure customer experience is great. So another thing that we've introduced to the SURF program is you don't have to come to DBJ. The lenders don't have to come to DBJ for each loan either. So again, we have a pre-approved line of credit available to them. So they're able to access, let's say, $100 million upfront and advance, and then they're able to approve loans from that pool of funding right away without coming back to DBJ for, let's say, a month or up to 3 months.
So how does an MSME qualify to be able for their financial institution to tap into this line of credit?
Okay, so an SME would now simply have to go to their bank or credit union, for argument's sake, and present your project to them. So let's say I'm in manufacturing and I want to buy a piece of equipment. You go there with your invoice, you go there with your records, you go there with all the information that you need to prove that you know what you're doing and that you can pay back this loan.
Okay.
Let them know, tell them that you're there for the DBJ MSME recovery loan, because the interest rate on that loan is 5% to the sub borrower, to the SME.
Repeat it
5%
for
to
me.
you.
It's 5% to this.
5%,
Uh-huh.
and you can get up to 10 years. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
you can get up to $10 million at
Okay.
5% with 8 years to repay. If you need a grace period on the principal because you're doing some construction or something, we can give you up to 12 months moratorium on that facility. But the objective is really to bring down the debt service for small businesses at this time, because we
Mm.
know how tight things are out there. Some of them have sunk costs, some of them are stretched right now. The beautiful thing about the MSME recovery loan is that it, in addition to doing new projects or working capital or equipment, it can also be used for refinancing or debt consolidation. So
Oh,
that's
and
something that we
somebody
didn't do
asked
before.
about that. So refinancing and debt consolidation is
And debt
included.
consolidation. So things like your overdrafts or your credit cards that you had to use to float your business during this period, and you're struggling along to pay those interest rates. We've
Mm-hmm.
negotiated with the banks, the Ministry of Finance has provided the money, and the minister has been very firm on this, that we want debt service for our MSMEs to go down so their cash flows can take them through this time.
Oh, so this is very important because our MSMEs who have been struggling with debt, struggling with those credit card
Yeah.
payments, and are now, some are actually hiding and not answering their phones.
Yeah.
So in fact, there is a facility, the MSME recovery loan, that's
Yeah.
available through the financial institutions. So you go in as an MSME and you can ask for this loan, and it can include things like debt servicing or for debt consolidation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
And
we apply for this, Edison. Got this
so,
on.
all right, let me throw this out there then. So we have about 9 institutions that have already taken up the facility. And I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
call their names so people know that these are the ones these are the first movers, really. So you have NCB, JMMB, First Global Bank, Sagicor Bank. You have microfinance institutions like Lasco Financial, Wilco Financial, and Bull Investments. You have credit unions like First Heritage, COK, CNWJ Credit Union. So about 700 million has already gone through the door to these institutions, so that they have the money and they're able to lend it to you. So it's not a question of whether institutions are not willing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've stepped up. They've been the first movers on this. We have a pool of 2.2 billion dollars really under the MSME recovery line, and I'd say 600 of that has gone to this, because we have another product, well, two other products, the Go Digital facility, which is also another major intervention at this time as well. But institutions have stepped up, and we have loans that have gone through the door already to small businesses, to get them funded.
So is there an application process for these facilities?
So the application process from the financial institution to DBJ is pretty seamless, and that's straightforward. So we're able to approve that, again, pre-approve and advance that funding to them. On the side of the small business, as I said again, and we've looked at some of the terms and conditions that our lenders require, and I break them down into 4 areas really. They want to know who you are and make sure that your business can be identified. They want to know that you have a plan as to how
Yes.
you're going to repay. They want to know that you have a track record, ideally, if you're not a first-time business owner, that shows, that you have some accounting records and you've done this before. And critically, also, they want to know that you're committed to the business. And typically, what they look for is a little equity. I mean,
Mhm.
on DBJ loans, you're required to put in a minimum of 10% as your contribution to the project. And very often lenders will require collateral, but the guarantee is there, the CF guarantee is there to help you with that as well.
With
So I
that
think
as well.
once you cover those things generally, you should be clear.
So, Edison, I know that a question, and I see Annette says that this is really a game changer for many. But even as we hear this, sometimes as business people, we say, but I hear what Edison is saying, and I hear these facilities are available. But I wonder if Edison understand that it's been a struggle for my business over this past year and a half. I don't have it, but I'm trying to save this business. And I've run up a lot of debt. I've missed my moratorium payments, but I need some help to get back on my feet. Can I go to my financial institution to say I need to access this, or should I continue hiding?
Come out of hiding. Take advantage of the vouchers. So if you don't have financial statements, as I said, you can get $250,000 to pay for your financial statements, 100%, including GCT. You can get a business plan to help you demonstrate, how you'll turn around your business, right? And you have the collateral guarantee, the CEF. So I would say, and what we said at the outset of the pandemic, because DBJ reached out to our SMEs, we reached out to our lenders from March of 2020. And as a result of that, we facilitated a massive restructuring and rescheduling of those loans, right? So talk to your bankers. Don't be afraid of them. Go and talk to them. Tell them from day one that this is the situation I'm facing. Try and regularize as best as possible, and take advantage of the facilities that are out there.
Because there are these facilities out there. So our MSMEs can actually come out now. Yes, it's been a rough time. Many MSMEs have been struggling to keep the businesses afloat. And there are facilities, these grants in place, these loans in place, this credit enhancement fund that provides a guarantee through the DBJ when you don't have the collateral. You have the SERVE program that helps you know where you needed the debt servicing, you needed debt consolidation, and through this DBJ facility, you're able to access this. Now, it's a lot for people to take in. Where do they find this information? And is this information easy to read, or is it hard to read, Edison, so that we feel more confused?
All right, so we're trying our best to make it simple to digest. So we're flooding social media with a lot of information. We're trying to put it where people are so that you can get it. We also have a dedicated website for the DBJ Serve program, and that website is dbjserve.com. So it has information about the MSME recovery loan, the 5% loan. It also has information about the DBJ Go Digital loan and DBJ Go Digital voucher, which I haven't touched on, because the Go Digital loan, we've seen where, and this predates COVID, Jamaican businesses have been lagging in terms of the adoption of technology and the level of productivity that technology could give. But COVID has forced us into a situation where you have to put up your shutters and customers aren't coming into your business anymore. So now you have to find a way to reach them. So if you need a website, if you need, any of those services, we have a loan at 2% to you, the SME. You can get up to $800,000 at 2% to buy computers, tablets, servers, printers, whatever it is to digitalize your business. Software, you can pay licenses for your software that you need. All of these things, CRM systems, whatever it is to digitize your business, you can get it with this. We also have a voucher, which is again a grant, $300,000, absolutely free. There's no payback on it that small businesses can get, where you can actually get the software or pay the license fees or get the consulting. The grant itself does not buy things like the computers and the hardware, but it covers all the other software and those things for up to $300,000. And again, it covers 100% inclusive of GCT. So all you have to do is go on dbjserve.com.
So dbjserve.com.
Yes, and you'll see all the features of the $300,000 Go Digital voucher. You'll see the features of the 2% DBJ Go Digital loan. You'll see the features of the 5% DBJ MSME recovery loan. All of those are spelled out there, and we have it on across all the media channels as well. The critical thing I want to point out as well, Rochelle, is this is very time sensitive. These facilities are only available until March 2022.
So we have to act now.
We have to act now. You have to go and do whatever it is you have to do to get these facilities now. So we're saying go and talk to your financial institution, and if they're not on board, demand that they come on board, because these facilities are here to help you, to help the country really get through COVID. I mean, small businesses didn't create this crisis, but we're all in this crisis together. And this is really the Ministry of Finance and the government of Jamaica's initiative to help small businesses through this crisis.
And I've seen the comments and questions coming in. Fitzroy, thank you. Fitzroy says VTA was received in April 2020. Am I able to apply for one of the new vouchers under the Go Digital vouchers?
Excellent question, Fitzroy. So the Go Digital vouchers are outside of your regular voucher allotment. So currently you can only get a regular voucher once every 2 years. The Go Digital voucher, you can get it alongside your regular voucher entitlement. So it's in addition to. So you're free to apply for a Go Digital voucher tonight. Just go on the website and apply it tonight if that's what you want.
And by the way, though, when you send the people to apply tonight, how long does this process take to get the voucher?
It may take 3 days, I'll say.
3 days.
It will take 3 days. You'll probably get
apply tonight. You'll probably get a what?
You'll get a response within that 3 days. Yes.
Okay. And then Polly Ho says, hello, Polly. Many banks don't offer you this. They are quick to give you a 15% loan, example, a merchant loan. But what you're also saying to Polly is you need to be demanding these MSME loans.
Absolutely. We've been following the discussion on social media as well, and we've seen the discussion where people are saying that they've been to different institutions and some are hearing yes and some are hearing no. I'm saying keep that dialogue going so that institutions know that they need to be responsive to you. As I said, this facility is here to help the country get out of this crisis. So we all have to pitch in, and we have 9 institutions that have already jumped on it. We're fully expecting all the others to come on board. So, I mean, keep talking to them, and as the minister,
MSMEs through these facilities are also empowered now to be asking of their financial institutions to make sure they're part of it and to say, this is the product, this is what I want, this facility through the DBJ.
Yes.
And it says institutions like DBJ doesn't resonate with many micro and small businesses, so they are missing this type of info. What would you say to that? Again, people say the big DBJ building, and I say, I don't think I can go in there,
Right. So that's part of the issue, right? We work through a whole range of institutions. We have, as I said, an army of business development advisors, over 50 consultants who are there at your beck and call to help you structure your businesses. We work through institutions like microfinance institutions. So we have, as I said, you have Wilco, you have Bull Investments, you have Lasco, you have JN, all the way through the credit unions, First Heritage, CNW, COK, all the way through to NCB, JMMB, Sagicor, First Global. So we're working the entire system. So you shouldn't be intimidated by them. I mean, and the reality of it is that you can get the same 5% or 2% loan through the microfinance institution as you will get it through the commercial bank. There's no additional charge on top of it in terms of the interest rate. It's the same rate through whichever institution you go to.
Yeah, and Dr. Smith says, entrepreneurs, go for it. The process is seamless. once you meet the requirements. The staff is also very helpful. But Polly says, notwithstanding all of that, and that we need to go on your website has been down for 2 days.
Oh dear, which one of them?
Polly, which one
DBJ
of
serve is up right now. I just went on it a while ago.
So Edison is saying that the websites are back up, Polly. So you can go to the DBJ Serve website. It should be back up, and you can let us know if you are having trouble accessing.
Yes, please,
so you
please.
can email us at sme@psoj.org, and we will be in touch with Edison.
Yes.
So Edison, we have been talking tonight and saying to our MSMEs, no more hide and seek. It's time to find the funding to save your business. Equip yourself with the information. You are empowered to get the information and to ask for these facilities. Now, as we're wrapping up, and sorry, Polly says, please repeat the website. Polly, the website is further up in the chat. So it is www.dbjserve.com and dbjserve.com. And we've just put it back. Okay. So Edison, what would you be leaving our MSMEs? What tips would you be saying to them? Those who are still kind of skeptical about whether or not they will be turned back, what are you saying to them tonight?
All right. I would say prepare yourselves, right? That's the first thing to do. As I always say, there are these 4 questions that a financier will ask you. And you just need to be prepared to answer those questions. Those are questions that if you're asking for a loan from your auntie should ask you.
Producers to put up those questions, those 4 questions, so people can just take a quick snapshot of it. And please go and read our SME memo for this week. A lot of this information is in there. We've collated it so it's easy for you to access. Go through those questions again for us, Edison.
Right. So the first one relates to identification. They need to know that you're Mary Brown and not Martha, and you're not impersonating. So you have to have identification. They want proof of address so they know that this is where you're from. Your business ideally should be registered so that you know that this is Mary Brown's business called Mary's Shoes, and that you own your assets. What is your plan? What will you do with the money in order to repay them? So you must have a plan, a business plan. You must have projections, and possibly you might have contracts or something to support those cash flows. They're going to ask, what is your track record? And track record comes in many different ways, so you should have business records. You shouldn't have pieces of paper all around the place and your personal expenses all mingled in there. Ideally should have your accounts running through a bank so that you can show bank statements to show that your shoe business has been earning 300,000 a month, and this is expenses is 200, and this is so you need to have those kind of things in place. They may go further and ask for things like credit references to support that. And on the 4th question really is they want to know that you're committed to the business. So it's a wonderful plan. They know who you are and you have a track record. How much skin do you have in the game? If something goes wrong, will you stick around and try to work it out? Or are you going to, say, well, I don't have anything to lose, so I'm out of here. You lose your money, I'm gone. So these are really the 4 questions that I think, based on what we've seen, that financial institutions typically ask. And as I said, if you're lending a friend money and you don't have the answer to these questions, your friend probably won't pay you back anyway.
Okay. And so the banks want to get the answers to these questions. And once we're prepared now, we are able to now access these DBJ facilities.
Yes.
Now, just one last question, Edison. If we have approached our financial institutions, if we're having trouble accessing, if the information you've told us tonight, we find that when we go to the bank, that's not happening, who can we contact at DBJ to get some help?
All right. So the easiest contact for DBJ, we have a WhatsApp line. That's 24/7. It's text 371-3830. And we respond to that every day, basically. 876 371 3830.
Okay.
We also have our phone lines 929-4000 or 619-4000. We have mail at dbankjm.com. On our websites, we also have contact me forms where you can indicate what your interest is. If you're interested in a guarantee, a loan, a grant, and we take your contact information there as well. So we encourage people to use these. It's on the DBJ Serve site as well as on our main website. So we're trying to put all these channels in place so you can get information to us.
Okay, thank you very much, Edison. Annette says this entire episode, thank you, Annette, has been so enlightening, and she will be sharing with her micro business communities. And we encourage you, please share this information. So I thank you very much for your contribution tonight, Edison, on episode 70 of CovidCast. Very important episode, because we're talking about finding the funding to save your business. So thank you very, very much, Edison. And viewers, remember, we have a weekly memo. So we have writing, we have the information down with tables, bullet points, etc., that you're able to go through the information. So please go to smallbusinessportal.com so you can download the memo. Email us at sme@psoj.org to ensure that you get our weekly memos. Thank you very much, Polly. Great to have you. Colette says, very enlightening. We are here to serve you, but we have much more coming, because not only do we have our weekly CovidCast, and we're back next week, same time, same place at 7:30 p.m., but October 27th, put it in your calendar from now, and October 24th on the Friday, we're talking about building business wealth. We are going to take you through those steps to build your business wealth, to grow your business from strength to strength, because not only are we going to recover, we are growing our business. On the Sunday, we are bringing families together, individuals, couples, the children, them, because we're going to talk about building generational wealth, understanding how to make, keep, grow money, so that we are building from generation to generation. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a big, different discussion. We don't learn about money in schools, and we have to know that. We are going to re-educate ourselves about how we treat with money and how we build wealth. So ensure you put it in your calendar from now and watch all our social media spaces so that you can register. Don't worry about it either. They are free. FREE. The only cost to you is your commitment to building wealth. So see you again next week for another episode of CovidCastJA. Visit smallbusinessportal.com. Download our previous episodes. Use it as a time to educate yourself to grow your business. When we have lockdown in Jamaica, you know what you're going to do. Binge watch CovidCastJA. Download our memos. And just like Annette says, share, 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 share. Share, 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 share. So see you again next week for another episode of CovidCastJA. So you have a great idea to start a business, but you don't know where to start. We completely understand. You have a lot of questions and almost no answers. Smallbusinessportal.com is here to help. At smallbusinessportal.com, you gain access to information on loans, grants, and investment opportunities from verified financial institutions. Guess what you also get? Useful business tips, access to training. All these services combine to make your business idea into a reality. Start your journey today at smallbusinessportal.com.